will we actually see an altcoin season in 2025, or are altcoins not going to outperform Bitcoin in 2025 or in the future years moving forward? And are altcoins actually going to zero? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about all of that and more. And specifically, you know that I love going over data. I'm going to point to 3 different pieces of data on why I believe altcoins are going down right now. So specifically, obviously, alt season is when altcoins grow faster than Bitcoin. So it's shown most easily by the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is how big of a percentage that Bitcoin has out of the total market cap out of the entire industry of crypto. So right now it's sitting at 62.24%, which is pretty high. You can see that it broke the trend line and then it ripped right back higher and is now heading to probably new local highs. And you can see that the alt season in 2021, that happened in March and April of 2021, which was the year after the halving cycle for Bitcoin, which 2025 is the year after the halving cycle for Bitcoin that happened in 2024. And we are now at the very beginning of April. So the question is, are we going to see an alt season? Well, in my opinion, we need to see it soon. But one of the biggest problems and reasons why I think we have not seen an alt season is various different things. But one of the big ones is people aren't aware of how big of short positions there are being held on Ethereum. It's actually some of the largest net short positions we've ever seen on ETH, over $11 billion. And that was starting in December and January of January of 2025, December of 2024, it really started to pick up steam, and that has been suppressing the price of ETH. And we've actually seen the price of ETH go down since January of 2025. Actually, the first whole quarter of 2025 was quite terrible for altcoins, which was very surprising. Definitely caught me off guard and caught almost all other crypto investors off guard. Now, I just shot a video about this specifically, about how Bitcoin has a huge correlation to stocks. I think that's important to understand, because when the overall market goes risk off, what do they typically sell first? The riskiest assets. And what are some really risky assets? Altcoins. You get too much more risky than alternative coins to Bitcoin, and especially the very, very small caps or memes. Those things are about as risky as you get. So when overall sentiment, which is what is happening right now, worldwide investors, they're worried. They're worried about the war overseas. They're worried about the slowing GDP, the growing debt, the tariff wars that are now happening. There's so much going on, and people are taking risk off the table, as you can see with this orange line here. So we go in these big waves where people like to go really risk on and then go risk off. And it happens over time, and they're a little bit longer type cycles, usually like 8 to 10 years. And now you're starting to see this orange line start to come down. So the question is, will that trend continue downwards? We don't know, but the more certainty that comes back into the market from things like Trump slowing down the tariffs, those things are incredibly important to getting more certainty and getting more risk on in markets. Now, the other major thing that is happening too is just there's so much lost trust in the altcoin market because of this, which this should really be shocking to you. In 2020, there was 137,184 tokens in alternative coins to Bitcoin. Okay. Now in 2025, okay, so just about 5 years later, we have 39.4 million tokens in 2025. This is on the first of the year, which is incredible. I mean, the fact of that growth rate is absurd. The problem is the growth rate of the altcoin market cap only went up 1,500%, but the growth rate from 137,000 to 39.4 million is 28,000% increase. So in one hand, we only saw a 1,500% increase over the same period of time in the market cap of alternative coins to Bitcoin, aka we're looking at total 2 right here. And then we saw a 28,000% increase in new crypto tokens over the last 5 years. So what does this difference in percentage growth tell you? Well, it tells you that capital is spread too thin across the altcoin market. There are the barrier to entry of launching an altcoin is way too low. I mean, my mom could literally go onto these stupid platforms online and launch a coin in the next 3 seconds. Like, that is how easy it is to launch a new coin in 2025. Which is, there's, the majority of them are just pump and dump schemes, and people are consistently losing money, which there's two things that are happening. The capital is getting spread too thin, and the trust in the altcoin market and the excitement around new projects is pretty much gone, because people are just sick and tired of all of these 39 million new coins coming out a day, 100K a day of new tokens coming out a day, because, when they consistently see that, it consistently keeps diluting the overall market. They don't get excited. They don't feel confident in placing new capital into alt projects. And that's going to be detrimental to alt season actually happening. So to kind of summarize, I want to show you what I'm actually doing personally based on this new sentiment that we're seeing in the market. We have not seen this where alt season has taken this long, and we may not even see it this year just because of, once again, big institutional shorts, market sentiment coming down, the overall annoyance in multiple dimensions from the ridiculous increase in growth of the number of new tokens. And by the way, this is not slowing down. This is an exponential wall. But there are a few things that I am doing, because I don't believe that alt season is never going to come back. Obviously no one knows if it's going to happen next month or in 6 months. But if it doesn't happen in the first really 2 weeks of April, it's really going to transition the way that I'm investing in digital assets, especially over the next year or two. Specifically, there's a few changes that I am making. So one, consolidating my altcoin portfolio into fewer fundamentally strong projects. So I don't want to worry about investing in really, really low market caps, because they may never come back. And a lot of altcoins are probably not going to come back. They've already seen their all-time highs, and they're not coming back or going past all-time highs. So I want to invest in projects that I believe are going to be here in 5, 10, 20 years. And that is not many, really. The majority of altcoins are complete garbage and trash and money grabs. So I want to consolidate my holdings from, 20 or 30 different holdings down into like a core 4 or core 6 holdings that I feel a lot more confident on, that if we do head into a bear market, I'm going to do a few things, which will actually go to the next one. Number 2, increase my cash position until certain technical levels are met. And what I'm talking about is when we start to head over certain technical levels with Bitcoin, with Total 2, with Total 3, with certain technical levels on altcoins, I'm willing to give up a certain margin of growth, because I understand that the probability once we break that technical level of it actually going to new highs, now that probability increases substantially. So I'm waiting for those certain technical levels in order to put some more cash to work. But recently, I have increased my cash position just because of all the uncertainty and the things that we're seeing in the altcoin and Bitcoin and even stock market right now. Hedging a piece of my portfolio as well. I do have some small hedges using different types of derivatives to hedge the downside in my portfolio. Last core thing in the crypto market is being patient and setting limit orders lower. Most people, they always want the obviously the quickest path to become a millionaire and the get rich quick thing. And you got to realize that that's not always going to come when you think. And oftentimes you will be rewarded by being patient and by being diligent and not overextending yourself in good times and then overextending yourself in bad times, aka, the famous Warren Buffett quote, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. So right now I am being patient and setting limit orders lower to lower my average purchase price on projects I actually fundamentally believe in. And then the last thing is I'm diversifying into market neutral strategies, such as leveraging technology that is quantitative trading, which we do at nerp.com. So we build quantitative strategies that you license and can run in your own brokerage account, and you can adjust your own settings based on your risk tolerance and goals. So I have personally allocated a bit more of my overall wealth into market neutral strategies, just because if we are in this type of ranging market, I want something that is producing cash flow so that I can go buy my long-term investments, buy more of them, and lower my average purchase price. So market neutral strategies are the things that can perform whether you're in a bull market or a bear market. If you want to learn more about what we do at nerp.com, there's a link in the description below where you can find out more information and learn about what we do and see if it is a good fit for you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Good luck in 2025. Let me know what you think about alt season in the comment section below, and hope to see you here on this next video.